Neighborhood, King Out Lord, you know what I'm saying? What's happening? I'm here doing the interview on Product of the 60s.
Business really had me stressed, trying to make it out this shit. Only case bigger was James Holmes to understand this shit. Organized crime, what they recommended on the set. But I never turned my back, I put that on 60 Crips. 500,000 chips, trying to get my bond down. Surprised when I made it happen. Mama, you can smile now. When they see me in the streets, I bet you know we ride now. What you know about sleepwalking down the green line?
Cause I'm 6 fingers up, 10 toes down, still rolling, still rolling, still rolling, still rolling. I said I'm 6 fingers up, 10 toes down, still rolling, still rolling, still rolling. Hey.
What's up, man? What's going on? It's King L. Lord, CEO of Money Hungry Movement. You know what I'm saying? Denver, Colorado representative. And we coming back to you, showing you, giving you a take of the behind the scenes of Product of the 60s. What led me up to rapping? I was a poet by nature, so I really low-key didn't have no rhythm. Like, so I wasn't no real, like, the cadence part of rapping wasn't for me, but I could write, you know what I'm saying? So it took me a while. This is back when I was like 13, 14, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure it out. I really wasn't that motivated into rapping, but my god brother, who passed away, rest in peace, my nigga Gim, he kind of brought me into that rapping thing, because he was the one who rapped, you know what I'm saying? He was the one who could take over anything, you know. You put him in front of 5, 10 people, he could turn that 10 people into a 30-man crowd, you know, because that's what that's what he was gifted at, you know. So I looked up to him, watching him do that shit and put on a show and learn how to put on a show, you know what I mean, and entertain people through that, you know. Led me into being Hussle Lord. I got into some trouble as a juvenile. I was a football star, low-key. I could have went anywhere, you know, I verbally committed to USC. I was too young to actually do a commitment. You know, LR is my street name. It's Locsta Rich. You know what I mean? But we cut it down. LR. We wanted to, for the business aspect. You know what I'm saying? Early on, we was taught the business side. You know what I mean? So to separate myself from the streets and the business, I just put Hussle Lord. I made that what. You know what I mean? And it worked for a while and stuff. Money Hungry Movement is the label I'm under, which I'm a co-CEO of this. We started officially on paper 2012, but we started way before that. You know, there's a couple people who ain't around who helped. You know, we kind of took them ideas from, rest in peace, my cousin Lauren, and rest in peace, my other cousin Hyphy. This was originally Hyphy's idea. He was the money hungry leader of that, you know what I'm saying? That was just something he was doing with him and his like school clique and stuff, outside of what we was doing in the streets, you know? So it was like, it's cool just to keep the memory alive. We was like, all right, look, we'll just keep the money hungry shit going, you know? So that's where Money Hungry Movement originally came from. When we actually brought it all together, it was me, Santa Fe, our other cousin J-Lo, Cash, and that's basically it for the rapping side. There was other members, you know, I ain't gonna speak on their names, but they know who they are as far as what they was doing, you know, to help us pertain. But we was out the trunk, you know what I'm saying? My project was probably the first project we dropped, which was Real Story Volume 1. And man, we did that in the fucking basement in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Outside my hood though, we used to go travel to the east side, which isn't, you know, if anybody know the east side, Park Hill areas and stuff, is they got their own culture over there. You know what I'm saying? It's still Crip and Blood culture, but it's their culture of Crip and Bloods. So it definitely was different, and we used to be over there all the time. I know a lot of people from over there. Respect a lot of people from over there. Grew up with a lot of them. But man, that's where we learned how to trap, you know what I'm saying, to get this music started. And the first project was cut in the basement. Where we at, it's a city, you know what I'm saying, and it's gang infested, and it's oriented, you know, the culture, that's our culture. We grew up like, you know, some cities are based off the East culture. Some people like, then you got the Chicago-based cities, like, you know, more GDs and vice lords and all about that and knowledge. And then you got the West Coast culture, which is Crips and Bloods. we were part of that West Coast culture, you know. So we like to say we the beginning of the West. Like that's how I grew up thinking, like we was the beginning of the West. You know, Sebo, this was home to Sebo and Brother Lynch and, you know, Looney Corleone. This is their second home. The Bay Area niggas, this is all their second home. You know, so we got a lot of California lingo that floats around here, you know. So and a lot of the beginning of our like Montbello stories come from like NNLD. You know, a lot of them is who we looked up to as rappers and entertainers. They functioned with that crowd, you know, from the Bay to LA. So that's where we get our styles and significant things from. As far as me, I joined the gang life early, got into the streets. You know, you couldn't really, back then you couldn't really run from it. It's a different time period now where you don't have to be a gang member to be a gang member. You know what I mean? It's not, back then if you was a gang member, it was frowned upon to be a gang member. You know what I'm saying? Because people really, you know, people died. I lost a lot of friends growing up. Like the first time we experienced death was like 12, 13, you know, and that happened all the time, you know, faithfully. So, you know, when you're dealing with that type of stuff, it take its hold, take effect, you know. And then I put that in, I translated a lot of them stories into music, you know what I mean? Like sometimes when my rhymes, it could pertain to me, then it could pertain to the people around me. You know, the things I've seen, you know, I might tell one of their stories and make it look like me from the third person story type mode, you know, so that's where that came from, like that type of thing. But Hussle, as far as my name, that's a gang, that's from the neighborhoods. I'm a neighborhood Rollin 60 gang member. So, you know, to cut it down, we call ourselves Hustlers, and, you know, you got the Hustlers and Gangster card, so we the Hustlers, so that's what we wanted that. So for Volume 1, you know, we did that. That was released My City, which was my first like song that kind of put me in the lane to even be spoken on in music. You know, we actually got a chance to shoot that. And it opened the door for a lot of things. And we followed it up with Volume 2. Shout out my nigga DJ Squizzy, man. You know what I'm saying? It was hosted by Cuz at the time. And us, the squad, of course, Money Hungry. And we did that, but at the time we was kind of, it was just rough, man. We was caught up in the streets. And man, it broke out, you know. And a lot of we got to push a little bit, but the money started getting tied up, you know. Like the investors, you know, kind of felt bad. People started falling back, you know. And when they tell you can't mix business with the streets, it's real, you know what I'm saying? And as a rapper, especially as a young rapper, because I was young still and naive, you know what I mean? I was thinking I could still do both. I couldn't do both. I couldn't balance the both. You know, when you got a family you take care of, and you in the streets, and you trying to run a business, like you got to pick one. Because too much attention, sometimes the wrong kind of attention is literally the wrong kind of attention. It'll burn your flame out just as fast as it's lit, you know? So that's what happened. We was going, that was Volume 2. And the only good things I can say, like, with Volume 2, we got to travel a lot. You know what I'm saying? Volume 1 and Volume 2, we traveled, hit LA, hit Vegas, hit New Mexico, Arizona. We hit our whole region to us, you know what I'm saying? We touched our regions and met a lot of connections. Got to meet a lot of people, a lot of other rappers and stuff, and build relationships with a lot of other people. So that was the positive. The negative, by the time I got back from that, my whole team was getting dispersed into all kind of shit. It was all kind of shit going on. And, you know, we had to deal with a lot of stuff. So this was around like 2012, 13-ish. Volume 2 was about 2013. By 2014, I was working on Volume 3. I had a deal in the works. I had A&R reach out to me, and he was trying to get me a deal. And at the time, I was balancing trying to take this deal, or if I should take this deal, because yeah, it was a lot of money, but it was basically a 360 deal. And with 360 deals, you know, they tell you you're getting money, you're getting paid, but you owe way more than what you receive. So you basically sign up for, it's a loan, you know. So if you're not willing, if you don't know what you're gonna do with it, it's not worth taking. At the time, I was trying to think about whether I wanted to take that type of money and build with it, you know, but I knew what I was facing at the time too, you know, some of the things that I was hearing in the streets and stuff, and some of the things that we were coming against, and, you know, the police harassing us and messing with us all the time. So, you know, we kind of knew something was up, and that eventually led into us getting indicted 2015. And so 2015, that shit woke a lot of us up. We lost a lot. Like, we was indicted. It was 24 of us on the indictment. Out of the 24, I want to say 6 or 7 one was my cousins. So they pretty much got one of us from each household. And so it was hard. It was hard on my family, you know, because for me being one of the older cousins to some of my baby cousins that were like 17 at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they hit all of us, and we all were looking at football numbers. And for those who don't know what football numbers is, that means anything from, you know, the 20s and up. You know what I mean? 25, all the way up to, like, me specifically, I was looking at 200. My brother looked at a 997. Shit. So my cousins was looking at 100, 200, you know. We got hit with the Coca Act, you know what I mean, which is organized crime, which is the Colorado version of the RICO Act, which is the RICO is a federal injunction that they place on you for most, like, that's what they use on the mafia to take down the mafias in the 50s and 60s and 70s and shit. It was the RICO Act. So we got hit with that, the Colorado version. We was the first gang to be indicted behind another gang, you know, and they played with our case a little bit, tried it out, see what they could do, you know. A lot of things was going into that. But anyway, I ended up making bond. Eventually, it took a while, but shit, my bond was $500,000 originally. So it took me like 3 or 4 months, but at this time, the one thing I could say, it brought my team together. You know what I'm saying? Like all my niggas, like the gang aspect, we was all them. But my money hungry team, like, I was proud of them. Like, the phone calls, you know, they kept a nigga spirit high, because they was just on business, taking, you know, from shows, doing shows, always shouting the nigga out, you know what I'm saying, to just building, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing. So when I did make bond finally, you know, when I came home, I was happy to see what it was, you know what I mean? It made me want to just kind of focus, you know what I'm saying? It took a minute because I was still fighting the case. I had to fight the case for another 16 months. I was on ankle monitor for all 16 months, you know what I mean? So, like, it wasn't sweet. I nigga couldn't travel, nigga couldn't do nothing. It kind of killed my flame in this rap shit for a minute, you know what I'm saying? I had to change my name. They froze my name, froze my bank accounts. Like, I had to get cleared. I had to get Money Hungry cleared out of the indictment for me to keep pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? With Money Hungry. So that's what we did. Changed my name to King LR. Just because I looked at the situation and was like if they're gonna make a myth of me, then why not be a king at this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be that big. And then they use my gang name and my stage name in my trial. So I was like, next time, if this ever happens again, they're gonna have to call me a king on wax. Somebody ever hears these transcripts, they're gonna have to get King LR. The basis of Maxwell Legend was, you know, to really talk about and bring to the forefront who I was, the reincarnation of myself. You know what I'm saying? From Hussle LR to King LR, because it was the first project is me as King LR. Well, the second project, because RSV3 was actually the first one, but RSV4 was like up to date, kind of like me, like really feeling myself out, kind of preparing myself for what was going to be, what to come, you know. And grinded it, you know, it did all right, did okay. You know, on the main platform that we pushed it on, it did decent numbers for, you know, for me really basically having to start over. Nobody knows who King LR is. You know, I had a lot of core fans who knew who Hussle is or searched for Hussle, but a lot of people didn't know who King LR was. People still sometimes call me Hussle. You know, I have to remind people, nah, don't call me Hussle no more. You know what I'm saying? It's like when Muhammad Ali became Muhammad Ali versus Cassius Clay. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best way I could put it. Is that same type of transformation. I sock the light out of you. You know what I mean? For calling me Hussle, not because I'm not a Hussle, but because I'm a king. I'm King LR now. You know what I mean? So, I think that's what the Maxwell legend was like embodied. You know, it was kind of like it was pieces of the indictment, pieces of the story, but not fully. I love rich niggas. That was one of my favorites. You know, shout out OG Deacon, he home now. You know, I had OG Deacon on there. Shit. Man, there was a couple. Man.
Mark My Words.
Mark My Words, of course.
Grind Before the Benz.
Grind Before the Benz was definitely dope. It was definitely a dope experience shooting Grind Before the Benz. I shot my first video in LA. And that was because Grind Before the Benz. Shout out my cousin Newport. That was a dope experience. That was a dope experience. Definitely. That's how people my nigga Westwood. Cause shot that for me when I was out there. So yeah, from Maxwell Legend, you know what I'm saying, we did that, we conquered that. And to now, we product of the 60s, my first album, you know. We took a lot to get here, you know. Like, I'm happy I waited. I mean, there's plenty of times I wanted to just create whatever the product of the 60s was gonna be. One was because of Snoop. You know, I love nigga, man, Doggy Style. Doggy Style, classic album to this day. You can listen to every song on Doggy Style. So I knew I wanted to embody that same type of work. You know what I mean? I wanted you to be able to listen to my shit 1 through 16. Just straight through. Like, don't skip shit, just listen to it. Listen to it all the way through, because it's telling a story. Like, will you know what the story is telling? Maybe, maybe not. You know, but it's telling a story. You know what I mean? If you know me and know what I've been through, then you'll know the story. You know, so like I was like, let me go more in depth with what we've been through as far as the indictment goes. You know, the Coke Act and stuff like that we faced, and to me, I felt like I conquered because we were lucky. A lot of my niggas is coming home when we wasn't supposed to come home. We wasn't supposed to be given a second chance. They didn't want to see us conquer that. They wanted to, you know, all the niggas I started with, banging with, is either dead or in jail or they just coming home. You know? So I've been blessed to be on the streets to make these type of sacrifices and these type of moves, you know. A lot of people be mad when they take losses and they feel like they lose it all, because I lost it all. Literally. They took my jeans, my shirts, my drawers, my shoes, you know what I'm saying? My coat, you know what I'm saying? They took everything. They did that. We lost our households, you know, and my wife's mother's house was ran into. You know, my mother's house was ran into. They came out there 50 deep, police 50 deep with choppers, you know what I'm saying, ready to get me with my son. My mama holding my son. And he haven't experienced that at 2 or 3 years old. We went through that. We seen that. You know what I'm saying? But we back. We conquered that. We here. Probably the 60s is that story. And so now we giving it to you. We selling it to you. I mean, I couldn't just be as blunt as I wanted to be, you know what I mean, for the protection of the ones that I hold dearly. You know, but I gave to you what I could. And the ones that was willing to participate, they participated. With the features on the album, I really didn't go outside. I didn't go outside the team. I really didn't work with nobody big or anything like that because I was trying to tell our story. It was important to me to keep it us. You know what I'm saying? So I had Too Rich. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was a part of the indictment with me. HK Baby, you know what I'm saying, which is one of our newer artists coming up. Vito, also a newer artist coming up. Youngsters, my young cats, my little young Thunder cats. You know, Pistol P, of course. My first lady, Lane Hungry. You know what I'm saying? Ike. You know what I'm saying? Interstate Ike, the legend. That's our RE40 in Colorado. That's what we call him. You know what I'm saying? He's the first one. They was the first one. You know, if you're not familiar with his story and how that affected our neighborhood, then you probably just not up to game. But he was the first hustler of hustlers when it comes to the music. My nigga Mike T, first and foremost, man, was my bad. You know what I'm saying? But Mike T, that's it. That's it. Just, you know what I mean? Everything else is me. You know what I mean? I kept it straight us. And the point we were trying to get across and where we're going to. You know what I mean? We started off at one point, we're ending at going to another level. But all of it was elevation to being who we were becoming, which is, you know, I'm a CEO. Product of the 60s, the title itself necessarily isn't just about Rollin' 60s. You know what I'm saying? It's the product of the environment around us, my nigga. It wasn't just Rollin'. It was not called Rollin' 60s. It's called Product of the 60s. You know what I'm saying? The 60s in my neighborhood were influential. We had niggas who came from the 80s era, you know, the early 80s, who brought it out to us. And that shit was influential. We was influenced by that, by the lifestyle. So that's part of it. And also, you know, Product of the 60s is our story. It's a story. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than just the hood. The hood affected everything. Don't get it twisted. That definitely was the forefront that made us who we were and who we are in the naked eye. But who we actually are, you gotta come walk with us. You gotta come see what we go through, see what we deal with as a person. Everybody deal with something. You know what I mean? No matter where you from, where you at. You know, you be here in China, nigga. You know, we all got different stories, but what's unique in everybody's story, we all people. So at the end of the day, we all blessed with one thing, man, and that's, you know, to be born and to die. You know, that's what connects all of us. There's nobody who outlived that. You know what I mean? And so, Product of the 60s is gonna be a classic. I can feel it. I know it. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, that shit gonna be a classic. You know what I mean? Product of the 60s. You know, we gonna push that, press that a little bit. Shoot some more videos. Still Rollin's already out. Gang Enhancement's out. We're gonna shoot the actual cover song, Product of the 60s, here soon. A couple of other songs, Outcome, of course, you know what I mean? As far as Product of the 60s, we gonna do that. That's what our plan is. But also this shit, like for this year, 2019, we're gonna push the up and coming artists. You know, Cash Gas Rod got something coming. My little infant Thundercats is coming. HK Baby, Vito. You know what I'm saying? DJ 6 Foes definitely pushing. Some he got beats. He got motherfucker. We got a, you know, street mixtape. Some, you know, mixtape series. A couple mixtape series coming for not just for our team, but for the city. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he loves to do that. So, you know, we focused on a lot of different aspects, but the main goal out of all this is to focus on the music. Get back to the music, and that's what brought us together, and that's what keeps us going. So that's what we pushing. And, you know, we got clothing. You know, we got all kind of other things coming. You know, different outlets. It's time to open up our horizons. You know what I mean? And keep pushing. You know, so definitely follow us on follow myself, King LR, Money Hungry, whether Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Of course, the album will be everywhere. You know what I mean? All the main music sites. Apple, Tidal. You know, I prefer you guys to go buy it off a Tidal. You know, shout out Jay-Z. You know, and what he got going on. I prefer it that way, but you know, if not, it's cool. Just go get the album. Definitely support, man, because it's time, man. You know, it's time to hear where we come from, what we do. Ain't nobody really set the ground we walk on, but there's a lot of artists in the city that's coming. And we're part of that race. You know what I mean? This marathon. Straight up.
Late night niggas at the Shell D. Bird out gang signs to the pale base. Big guns, long clips, and they well greased. Black woman on my $20 bill crease. Headshot man down in the bill, sheesh. Enemies, MCs, and get switch cheese. Double back 10 minutes, made a big scene. Bullets start flying by, nigga, that's a sick breeze.